Good morning and welcome to our Business Success Series, which is an opportunity to introduce to you some incredible business owners and leaders. So today I am absolutely delighted to introduce Carmel Smith from Hybrid Energy Group. Good morning, Carmel.
Good morning, Des. Thanks for having me.
Great to have you. So we're going to get stuck in straight away. So I've got a series of questions I'd love to ask you about you and the business and your future and all that type of thing. So we're going to kick off with tell us a little bit about your business, and I suppose what inspired you to start off in the business in the first place.
Yeah, absolutely. As I say, my name is Carmel Smith from Hybrid Energy Group. We're based here in Cavan. Hybrid Energy Group was founded in 2009 by Micheal, who is my husband, and myself. I suppose just a bit of background on that. Micheal was a qualified plumber and started as a sole trader in 2005. He worked in America for some years and he's seen a huge opening here in the renewable sector. So he did some training. He went to Austria and did some training. So on the back of that, I decided to hand in my job. And as I said, in 2009, we set up the company, Hybrid Energy Group. So as I said, we've seen a massive opening for renewables within Ireland. We actually began the journey, I suppose, ourselves with building our own A2 rated carbon neutral home back in 2008. At this time, we installed a proven wind turbine at the house, solar thermal panels, which is for your hot water, a ventilation system for air filtration within the house, and we heated our home with wood pellets. We then, I suppose, we took on our first employee, and we've gradually built it over the years. We now have a team of 12 full-time employees, and we have numerous subcontractors that we use. So obviously, my point being in what we installed into our home back then, since then we've had to diversify and innovate the business. So it's now all heat pumps, as you probably know, and it's solar PV panels, which is your electric panels. So we still cater for all that, and the ventilation. We do plumbing, and we offer after service maintenance packages for all of these. So, but our main mission, I suppose, staying the same, is to help communities all around the country to switch to renewable energy solutions, eliminating fossil fuels and creating a sustainable future for the next generation. That's our mission.
So tell me, back when you did your own house, I suppose you would have been you would have stood out, I suppose, in the community, because to have a carbon neutral house back in 2008 would have been very unusual, I would have said.
Yeah, we were told we were crazy, and it was an ICF house that we actually built. So that's where they pour concrete and it's insulated in the middle and pour concrete again. So it was new to Ireland, and the Irish people don't like any of this. But we had a couple of open days actually at the house where we invited. We had a couple of politicians. We had actually Duncan Stewart was here one evening. He wanted to see the wind turbine, and so yeah, it was all new. But as you know. And I suppose money at the time, but our point being, this is what we do. Well, if you're unsure, sure, come and see what we have and see how get the environment of the home. You'll feel, with the ventilation system, the air is filtrating all the time around the home, making every room the same temperature. As in some houses, you have a nice warm sitting room kitchen. You go down the hall and it's different temperature. So so that was our point in that.
The fact that you were able to take the wind turbine, you were to take the sun with the solar, you were to take the wood pellets, like you were really kind of utilizing many different aspects of renewable energy.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, no, it was great. And look, it was money, a lot of money at the time, but we put it there, and we were running the house for €900 a year.
Wow.
We had no oil bills. We had one fill of pellets. We had credits coming back to us for the wind turbine from our electricity bills, so, and that's the point of renewables. It's, people say, oh, it's a lot of money at the time, but it's an investment. That's the way you have to look at it.
Well, it's an investment that can actually, if it's done right, can generate some income for you as well, or certainly offset some of those costs that you talk about.
Yeah, definitely.
Very good. So look, you're around a long time, and I think that's often overlooked for a lot of businesses in the renewable space, because renewable energy has, I suppose, become a popular business to get into, and lots of people talk about it. but very few people have the pedigree that you have. So I want to talk to you about some strategies. So what are the key strategies that have been most effective for you and Micheal in growing the business?
Yeah, well, look, as I said, it was very challenging at the start. There was myself and Micheal for a couple of years until we started taking on employees. And we had systems in place, but I have to say it, we had nothing in place correct until we started to work with yourself, Des, in terms of operations and financial management of the business. You know, the key strategies for me that would stand out would be operations, obviously trying to improve operations all the time. When I thought about this, it was, we'd say, beginning of this year in January, to streamline work easier, we invested in a new scaffolding for the business. That would be when we were talking PV, so the lads getting up on the roofs and stuff, to streamline it easier. So this scaffolding is a new scaffolding out there. It can be erected within 10 minutes. So it was to streamline the work, to get in and out of people's houses as quick as possible. That's where we're going with that. So I suppose always trying to improve on operations. That would be our key strategy, trying to do something to improve the business every year. The second one I would think of is digital transformation. Social media is huge for us, I suppose, because we don't pay a lot of paid, we don't do a lot of paid advertisement. We're lucky enough to be able to go off word of mouth and fill with social media. We have now in the last 6 months or so, we have an independent company there doing SEO for us, which we can see good leads coming in from that and good engagement on that end of things. Customer relationships would be huge. Micheal would say that would probably be Micheal's first one, to be fair. Micheal loves going out, educating people, sitting down, having a chat with them, you know, really going through the whole system with them and building a relationship. And we find that has been instrumental for us over the past few years, because you build a good relationship with people that come back to you when they're ready to do something else, you know, and we see that.
I suppose the key to that one is that not everybody is in a position to do business with you right now. They're in various stages, and they're on a journey themselves. So they're not ready. They need information. They need to be educated on the benefits of it, because, like, I suppose myself would be a good example of it. Do I know everything about renewable energy? No. So give me everything I need to know, and I'll make an informed decision.
Yeah, absolutely. Like we see, again, I'm referring back to solar PV. I know there's more we do, but in terms of people like the idea of putting the panels up and saving a little bit on their electricity bills, brilliant. And they'd love a battery. But the way we offer that is, well, we'll give you two options. We'll give you the option one being to put in your hybrid inverter, which is leaving provisions to add on battery. You don't have to do the battery now. Put in your hybrid inverter with your system. Your system's working. It's up on the app. You're saving money. 2 years' time, you know, you have a few pound maybe, or you're after buying an electric car, add on the battery to that. We don't have to change any of the equipment. You just add the battery to the system. So, you know, we appreciate that. Like the people, you know, it does cost money. People don't maybe have it all. So we try and do our best for them and offer any solution we can, you know.
Very good. And I love that. I love the visibility of that app. You know, and I've seen it a few times, and you can see when you're generating electricity. You can see when that electricity is being used. You can see when it's pumping into a battery, for example, to store up a bit of energy.
Yeah, people love to see what is amazing in the house, what the PV is doing on the day, and what they're saving. Yeah, so it really is good.
Yeah, so it's great. So let's move on, because I'm going to talk about something. I know we often talk about this, and we include it in our coaching sessions. But how do you measure success, both personally and for the business? And indeed, how do you celebrate that success?
Yeah, celebrate success. Yeah, I suppose I'll start with the business in terms of measuring success. And it's funny because it's something we never would have done again until our sessions. I suppose week on week you're so busy and it's just getting work in, getting the jobs done, whatever. And it wasn't until we started our sessions with you. And I remember it being, and I kind of thought, oh, all right, I'm not sure what to say here. Like, what's your win for the week? You automatically think sales or, you know, what you've brought in. But I suppose on this one, now that I'm more comfortable with the question, it's not always sales. It could be a new employee. It could be, something else apart from sales. And it's funny, I suppose. Again, we didn't. You just you go on and you get the job done and you go on to the next one. So yeah, so we do that now. We have introduced Employee of the Month to the company, which is really good. I think the lads get a good kick out of that, and the women. And it's just a good incentive, hopefully, for them to, I suppose they're the forefront of us. They're out there representing, especially the lads out on site or out on the jobs. They're representing Hybrid Energy Group, and we hope they're doing it in the best possible way they can do. And if it's something like that that can motivate and encourage them, then we've no problem doing it. I suppose early in July there, we did a team bonding day as well. Took a day out, all of us, and we went to the Lakeside Manor, and you joined us there. And I think it was really good for them all. You have young lads there and kind of titting and laughing and, feeling like they're back in school. But I thought it was really good because you don't talk to these guys a lot. They're out on jobs and that. And we're all sat in the room together and bounced ideas of one another. It was funny, the different scenarios and chats we had. And then
it was a great meeting, actually. Yeah, because you've got different personalities. You've got different personalities in the room who don't always have a voice in the business, and I think that's a really good one of the good features of a day session or half day session that we did there. It was you gave them the voice, which was really important.
Well, I remember one of them even saying, "Well, sure, you're saying use your own initiative, but sure, how do I pick up the phone then and ring them and tell them I've just used my own initiative?" But again, it's to communicate that back, and it's great to hear, And then we had a bit of fun in the day, and I think everyone enjoyed it. So yeah.
But you mentioned your Employee of the Month there, and interestingly enough, you have that weighted. So attendance and timekeeping has a lower weighting, for example, than someone who is kind of going above and beyond, or someone who goes the extra mile within the business, or someone who might bring in a deal of some sort or potential client to the business. Tell me a little bit about that. Yeah,
well, we have it. We have 6 or 7 sections of how the points are built up, if you like. So each of the lads now have packs in their van with flyers, business cards and information on grants, that kind of information. So that we're encouraging them, if someone, if they have the opportunity, then, you're there representing us, tell them what we do, pass over a flyer, all that is to try and incentivize them to bring in new leads. They're out driving about, people are seeing the vans rather than us sitting in the office. So, so between bringing in new leads, going above and beyond, as you say, going the extra mile, if something to be done, don't have to be told to do it, just use your own initiative there. And, and then we have Mick is our project manager, and he'll communicate all that back to us where he sees fit,
Very good. And I'm really looking forward to seeing the results of July, because one of the things that I did on the day, of course, was double the stakes. So I'm really curious as to did that increased incentive lead to a bit more of the higher kind of people going above and beyond and going the extra mile. So really looking forward to seeing that. So you mentioned earlier where you started off with your own house and you had the pellet stove and you had the wind turbine and you had the solar thermal, I think, was on the roof. Tell us how things have changed. So, and how things are going to change even more in the future. So what future trends do you see within the industry, and how is hybrid energy preparing for them?
Well, I suppose we all know everything has really gone electric at this stage. So we've a lot of interest in heat pumps now. So we've a lot of jobs going on where we're taking out oil boilers, replacing them with heat pumps, doing an energy audit on the house. Some radiators, if it's radiators in the house, may need to be replaced to get the efficiency out of the heat pump. So it's definitely moved away from pellets. That's gone. It's more electric now. So it's your heat pumps. We work with Mitsubishi Electric. We're the main agent in Cavan and Monaghan for them. We have a great relationship with them for many years now. So yeah, and county council jobs that we've going. It's all heat pumps that are into all these homes and solar PV panels. Mechanical ventilation is still there, and it's very popular now at the minute, especially with new builds. It's there now. It's people understand the system and what it can do. And so I suppose sustainability, we do definitely see it. People are becoming more aware and want to do something, which is great to see. There is great incentives out there also, and we had an evening in the Kilmore, actually, Des, you were at as well, just an information evening. A lot of people are very skeptical about grants still and not sure on what's entitled to them. So just out there, would say great incentives now for businesses for solar PV with the SEI grants available and the capital accelerated allowance, which is tax write-off in the first year for renewable energies of putting in any sort. So great incentive there. For farmers, you have the 60% TAMS grant, which is massive for them as well, for PV. And then the homeowner, 0% VAT for installing PV, and you have a grant there of 2,100. So yeah, so lots of upgrades and lots of incentives out there to do renewables.
Yeah, it's good to see. It's good to see the grants like that. The reduction of the VAT, for example, or the elimination of the VAT for the homeowner was that was huge.
That was huge. That could mean €1,500 to somebody, depending on the size of the system they were putting in, So they introduced that last May, 1st of May, they brought that in. So it is great time to do something, because we can see the grants decreasing slowly, like it was 2,400 there before Christmas, then January dropped it to 2,100. So,
okay.
Probably soon, maybe be gone, but hopefully not, but yeah.
So obviously, Carmel, some of these grant processes, and you kind of mentioned that people don't really know where to start, who to contact. Is that something that you do? Like you take people through that whole process?
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. Jennifer's in the office there, or myself, or Deirdre, we're here, happy to help. The initial application has to be done by the homeowner because they're putting in their bank details, and the grant is paid directly to the homeowner.
Okay.
And then it's just initial application. After that, any of this job, as the job goes on, you'd see our people will be taking pictures. That's just what SEI want. We submit all photos and paperwork onto a portal, and it goes in for review then and for payment. Yeah, we're seeing now at the minute kind of 6 to 8 weeks for domestic payment. That's kind
6
of
to 8 weeks.
The lead time on your
right.
From the work is done and the paperwork is submitted. Yeah.
Okay, very good. Okay, so I want to move on, and I'm going to talk about a subject that obviously we have been talking quite a lot of recently, which is what people's hot button issues are. And of course, hot button issues are problems, frustrations, concerns, and fears that are coming across from your potential customers. And I suppose knowing these and understanding them, how do you overcome these issues with the solutions that you offer? Because you've got loads of different solutions. How do you know which ones fit the right people and all that type of stuff? So tell me a little bit about that.
Yeah, so I suppose, look, as we've talked about, the main frustrations we're seeing is the rise in electricity costs for existing homeowners. They're afraid, they're ESB, some of them aren't sticking to a contract. We've advised them on that as well, to ring up their supplier, whether it be Electric Ireland, whoever it is, talk to them. Are you in a contract? If you're out of contract, review this. If they're definitely putting in solar PV panels, then tell them they're doing that and that you're looking for a better rate. So there's a lot. Our main problems is the electricity costs. Then we have new bills coming into us as well. A couple building a new house, and that's fine. They're looking for basically the most energy efficient heating solution that we can provide. So in that, we can survey their house, we can provide the full plumbing of the house, offer them the heat pump, supplied, installed, commissioned, all of this, the mechanical ventilation, the solar PV panels, and we do all the paperwork for the sign off, so that they get through the regulations.
So it's a seamless kind of a process from your end. You start at the very, very initial conversation right the way through to finalising the job, getting the grant.
We're there through the whole lot, because what we were finding in earlier years within the business, the team might be going in and do the plumbing, and then someone else was doing the ventilation, and then someone else was doing maybe the heat pump or oil boiler, whatever it was at the time. Then there's a problem, and who do you ring? And one is bouncing it off the other. Well, it wasn't me. I didn't do that. It wasn't, So we just felt, let's take all this on board ourselves, because we know our team. We have a good team, and we trust them all. So if we do the full installation and commissioning and sign over, if there ever is an issue, we're there, and we offer that support.
And you mentioned at the start, you do kind of an after sales kind of maintenance contracts, all that type of stuff. So
we have service packages. Obviously, your heat pump is to stand warranty, it needs to be serviced every year. So we offer that.
Because I know that there are some like big warranties on like the PV panels. There's lots of warranties on your heat pumps. There's obviously big warranties, but you got to maintain the service contract to keep the warranties live and active. Is that correct?
Absolutely. Yeah. It's a little like, I know people, you get the equipment, as Micheal just put it down to, it's like servicing your car every year. It's just something that has to be done to keep it right, to make sure, people maybe turn off their heating system as well and then turn it back on. And there's, so we stress to people that it needs to be done, and that's it. So we'll follow up with a reminder just to tell them, your heat pump's due for a service now, and we'd be happy to facilitate them whenever it suits.
I think one of the things that I love about, and I mentioned it earlier, and that's in the technology that you're using and the app that you're using to monitor. So you guys can actually monitor each of the systems that go in, and you can probably detect the problem in a system before the homeowner or before the business actually detects the problem.
Yeah, absolutely. We have we can monitor all our systems are on a computer here or on the phone, so we can see if there's any issues or whatever. We get alerted from it as well, and we can touch base with the customer. It might just be that there was a power outage, and it might just be to trip a switch to get it back on. But some people change Wi-Fi providers. Again, it might be just something small like that, but we can talk them through it. There's no problem, Yeah.
Very good. Very good. Camille, you mentioned the hot button issues there for homeowners, for example. When you're talking about, I suppose, businesses and commercial projects, would they have similar hot button issues, or are their needs different? Are their wants different?
The businesses, it's electricity costs as well. Yes, skyrocketing. So we just recently actually did a big install for Air and Motorworks there in Cavan, the Toyota dealer. So on that. There was 148 panels, I think it went on the roof. So they're delighted. We actually put a monitor up in the showroom as well, like a TV monitor. So that's all the information that would be on the app is there. So it's getting great. People are really interested in it, and they're delighted with them. They can see the reduction in the bills already.
Yeah. Good. So, and I think that's key to it actually, is from a commercial side of it, probably less so from the homeowner side of it, although they will want to know. But I think when you can actually visibly see the system working, the energy that's being produced, the energy savings that are actually being generated by those 140 odd panels that are on a roof, must be huge for not just the owners of the business, but for customers coming in and seeing the part that they are playing in creating this. I'm sure they're probably pretty close to a carbon neutral footprint themselves at this moment in time.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's something we're monitoring for them here as well. And a great time to do it as well, because up to last year, there was no grant support for businesses, So I think on that system, I don't quote me there, it was over 30 grand maybe of a saving on grant. It just obviously depends on the size of the system you're putting in and all the rest, but huge saving. And then, as I said, the tax write-off as well for the end of the year. So, it's really, you break it down, and we were able to, on the report that we gave them on all the information on what this system was going to do, it had paid back for itself in 2 to 3 years. System's paid for. The system's going to be there for 30 plus years, like, you know.
Yeah.
So,
So you've got
it's
the
great to
grant
be able
savings.
to,
Sorry, go ahead.
No, I was just saying it's great to be able to help people like this, and especially local for us. You know, we've a couple other big ones hopefully coming on board now as well. So it's great to be able to help people.
So on top of, so you've got the actual grant savings, you've got the CapEx write-off savings to the business, and then you've got the ongoing reduced electricity costs. Like it's win-win-win for businesses. Yes, there is an initial outlay or investment required, but within 2 years that business will have paid back and be making significant savings.
And your, as we can all see, the electricity bills unfortunately are rising, you know, so at least they're taking back some control of their energy costs.
Yeah, absolutely.
Investing in that.
So look, I've got one more question for you today. And that question is, like, what advice would you give to someone who is looking to start their own business today?
The advice I would give them, plain and simple, is to start out, get yourself a good mentor or business coach. Because I'm just saying it from our own experience, from working with you, Des, we were managing the business. The business was tipping away. It was averaging out, but it wasn't until we got, I suppose, just your experience and your knowledge on running a business, you know, that we were able to really now see between dashboards and reports that all the staff do and complete, and reviews and weekly meetings, and all that is in our schedule now. And you know what, it's really made the difference. So that's number one, I would say, to be sure. Starting out a business, love it, best of luck with it, but get the business plan and get the business coach together. I suppose, you know, being an entrepreneur, it's a lonely enough place as well. You know, at the end of the day, you're responsible if you have 10 working for you, 5 working for you, whatever it is. At the end of the day, at the end of the week, they have to be paid and go home and be fine or whatever. But you know, you're going all the time, I suppose, which, you know, is just part of it. But I think a clear business plan, and if you're passionate enough about what you do, it'll come across to the client, you know, and that'll sell for you. Also, I would say be around good, positive people. We've made some changes, as you know, in our business this year, and it definitely has made a change on everyone. Good people, having good people around you makes a difference. And even joining a business networking group, positive people, it makes such a huge difference. So that would be mine. And know when to turn off in the evenings, I suppose. Turn the computer off, switch it all off and walk away.
Which is not as easy as it sounds.
No, it's not. Yeah, I definitely would go with that one, but because I would be a devil for finishing, going in for a while and coming back out again just to check something, and the next thing you're sitting outside or in the office for another 2 hours, you know. Yeah,
but I think people on the outside world think that, you know, running a business or starting a business or running a team of people is one of the easiest jobs imaginable. And actually, as a business owner, you will know that it couldn't be further from the truth.
Yeah,
you mentioned it. You're the first one. You're the first one up in the mornings. You're the last one to go to bed at night, probably. You're the last one to get paid. And when things are going wrong, you're always to blame. But when things are going right, then like you never get the credit there.
Yeah,
you know. So I think business can be tough, and you mentioned it. It can be a lonely place. So do seek the support of a network group, or seek the support of, you know, like-minded business owners who can guide you, who can drag you kicking and screaming at times, but along a journey. And again, you mentioned the word passion. Have a passion for what you do is really, really important.
Yeah, I think so, because you're dealing with, whether it be homeowners or, you know, People are tough. Like it's tough all the time. So if you have extra support there, which everyone needs, you need support in every frame of life, don't you? And if it's sport you're doing or whatever it is, you need advice and support. So definitely for business, a bit of support is needed for everybody.
100%. Carmel, that's it. Your grilling is over. Thank you so much for being part of the Business Success series.
No problem. Thanks for having me, and I hope I came across okay.
You were absolutely amazing. Appreciate it. So, guys, Carmel, as I said, is from Hybrid Energy Group, based here in not too far from Dublin, only an hour from Dublin in Cavan. But they service, Monaghan and surrounding counties. They work in Dublin. So don't be afraid to look them up. I will post the details in whatever form you are watching this video on playback. So, Carmel, once again, thanks a million for your time, and we will talk soon.
No problem. Thanks, Des. Okay.